Today, we're reviewing my April 2021 income report. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, on this channel, we go over the tools and strategies to build and scale your Merch by Amazon business. Let's jump right into April's results. We're gonna start off with the account overview. I am tier 120,000 with 119,000 listed products, which is a little more than 17,000 listings from March. It's probably a little more than that. I did delete several thousand non-sellers that were pretty old, and 2,156 products with sales, which is an increase of 134 new products that sold in the month of April. At the bottom here, you're gonna see the new dashboard. This is right from the Amazon dashboard. For those that aren't aware, Amazon just pushed out a massive update earlier this month or end of last month, one of the two. I think it was end of last month, where it's completely game-changing for Merch by Amazon. I'll share some of my thoughts on the changes that they made here in this video, but it probably does deserve its own video to give it the attention it deserves. But essentially the change that they're rolling out is, instead of your product tier being the number of product listings available, it's instead the number of designs. So those designs can then be placed on each product and each of those products on every marketplace available, and it only counts as one design. So with this rollout, what they seem to do was take your tier and just keep you at that tier. And now that's the number of designs that you can have published. Doesn't matter which products they're on, what marketplaces. And if you see here, the published designs, I have a little over 25,000 designs out of the 120,000. So just from that, I immediately gained 95,000 new potential designs, which could go on the US market, standard tees, as well as just every other market and product, which if what they have here is this new product potential, which gives you the current total number of listings based on the product and market selection available in Merch by Amazon. So going from tier 120,000 to tier 7,680,000. It's 64 times what I had before. So I currently only have, I don't think you can see here, 2% of the potential products listed that I could have. So this is an absolute massive change. The obvious being it's going to, obviously everyone can put up more products now. If you've rolled this out, it seems they've started at the higher tiers, moved down. But it's a massive increase in just the number of designs that all the higher tiers have available to them. So what that's going to do is increase the number of listings that are going to be on Amazon, especially once they increase the number of products submitted available. If they do, at one point I had 3,600 available. Now it's at 2,400. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that rolls out and if they're going to greatly expand the number of products. So anytime there is a potential for increase in number of products, sellers are going to jump on that. So what's that mean? Large sellers are going to be able to move into niches that maybe they weren't in before or didn't have as many products in. So things are just overall going to become a lot more saturated. And I think that's going to make advertising on Amazon more important than ever, which really isn't that surprising. Amazon's kind of made a shift in some of the other platforms over time. They want you to launch new products with advertising. They don't want you to do any of this black or gray hat stuff where you're paying people to search for your product or whatever, or giveaways, which were really popular. They may still be. I don't do a whole lot of FBA, but I did just have a conversation with one of my really successful friends in FBA about this transition to where Amazon wants you to run ads, and he loves it. It's greatly simplified the process of launching a product. You create a good product, good SEO, good listing, and you run ads and get traffic to it and grow sales from that. You start getting reviews. Your conversion rate gets better with those reviews. And you get sales velocity and you climb the ranks. That's what Amazon wants you to do. And it's no surprise there because they make money from it, right? The more people that are advertising, the better. Amazon doesn't care about too much competition. I think this change speaks volumes for where Amazon's looking to go. They want to have as many products on Amazon as possible, more products than any other marketplace has. And they don't care who sells it. They get their cut either way. Off the top, it just doesn't matter to them because they're getting their cut either way. This is going to be the change, and that this shift has already happened in these other platforms, and we're seeing that more now with merch. And with that, I'm making changes to my own advertising as well, to where I would previously only advertise products that were validated through organic sales or have reviews. That's usually where I'd start. Products that have reviews, were organically selling. I'm expanding that to basically put ads on every single one of my products. As the saturation goes way up, the most important thing is getting traffic to your listings. It doesn't matter how good of a designer you are, how good your product is, how good your listing is, if no one sees it. So with that, I've started making changes to where I'm putting ads on everything with low bids, high placements. I'll do another video on some of that. I just started experimenting with it not too long ago, but seeing some early success. But it's turning kind of into a funnel where you have your low bid ads with all your products. And then I'll be segmenting those as well by targeting. And then you'll be peeling those off into their own campaigns, or I'll be doing that anyways, when they start to sell through these kind of lottery type ad groups. And then once they do, you can peel them off in their own campaign and kind of have a more normal structure. It's done that way. I'm doing it that way. For one, you can't create a campaign for every single listing. You have a limit of 10,000, so that you're just not going to be able to. You could create 10,000. I have to double check. It's 10 or 20,000 ad groups within a campaign, so you could do some things there. Like I said, I'll share more with that later, but I'm seeing some early success with that, with low CPC and getting orders on products that haven't sold before. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But that's kind of the overarching strategy, is basically get ads on every single product to get traffic to every product as much as possible. Anyways, I don't think you'll be able to get impressions necessarily on every single one, but that's kind of the way I'm going forward. Other changes to my business, how it's affecting me, is the last couple months we were focusing on moving to other marketplaces or platforms. I should say diversifying more so than moving to it, because we're not moving from merch. That's taken a long time. Haven't really seen a whole lot of traction there. With this change and how many available listings we now have, we're moving 100% of our focus back to Merch by Amazon, and we're going to ramp up our production as well by bringing on some additional designers and VAs to speed that up now that we have an additional 95,000 products. There's still some challenges that do need to be solved. We're going to be focusing on the US market, especially with the way the products are limited and how many you can upload. So we're still going to be focusing on US standard tees and the hoodies and kind of those best-selling products, and then start moving horizontally across the marketplaces as we prepare for it. We haven't really put in too many processes in place to properly trademark check for these other markets. So it's something we need to be careful with, so, just like everybody else. We're not going to just run into it. It's not worth the risk to the account, but that is very much on the table, is going to be moving towards that with translations. That's another kind of roadblock with moving to the other marketplaces, the translations and the trademark checking, just making sure everything you're putting up is in compliance, because the markets do have different rules themselves. Just the countries have different laws, as well as different trademark system entirely. So yeah, it's not something we've really done. We've always focused on the US market, just because that's where the majority of sales is. However, with this kind of product potential, where how many products are there? Like 12 in US market. So we'll call it 2 million for US. That means there's another 5.5 million listings available for those other markets. I don't really care what you're selling or putting up. If you have 5 million listings available, you're gonna probably make pretty decent money. So that's kind of my initial thoughts, just kind of off the fly. I'll sit down and kind of jot some more thoughts about it and make something up here. But that's kind of the gist of it. Way more saturation. I think ads are going to be more important than ever to get eyeballs on your listing, especially get those first initial sales. All right, so that was a little longer than I expected it to be on that little monologue, but let's just keep going. So April 2021 ended with 3,171 sales for just over 15,000 in royalties at $474 in average royalties. So a little over 106 sales per day, about $500 per day as well. Month over month, $2,700 more. It's a 22% increase. Year over year, it's all of it. It's last year, if you weren't around merch, April, it was shut down for everybody the entire month. Nobody sold anything. So It's infinity increase year over year. And here's the sales graph for April. Pretty steady month overall. So yeah, just over that 100 sales per day on average. A couple dips here and there, a couple spikes with some nice days. So pretty consistent overall. I'm pretty happy with how the month went. Overall, we're still preparing for June, this month included. So everything's going into that. June's kind of the Super Bowl for the product listings that I have. Last year it beat December, so we're still just plowing ahead for June. So really happy with how April results went in light of that. It's that's what our focus has always been on, is June. But I'm happy to see where we're at, especially over last year. It's profit where there wasn't any at all last year. And here's the advertising for April. $7,300 in spend with an ACOS of 33%. Advertising's been a little bit of a challenge. So most of this is on two products. It's my two big sellers, the ones we're gearing up for June to have huge months. Probably about 7,000 of that was to these two products, and essentially just trying to rank them as high as possible in preparation for June, so they can take advantage of more of that organic traffic when the traffic really increases in the niches that I'm in for those two products. So one of them, especially the big seller last year, if you didn't see it, one of my previous videos, it did $44,000 last June. I'm looking for a repeat. I don't know that's going to happen. Last year was obviously a very unique situation compared to this year, so it's hard to say. I'm optimistic, but we'll just have to see. But that one, it's been a little challenge. It's been kind of bouncing around the rankings between anywhere from 25,000 BSR up to 80,000. I ended up lowering the price from $19.99 down to $17.99 just to help with getting more sales. And the ACOS on that product specifically has been pretty high. I have been aggressive and targeting higher ACOS on specific search terms, especially the big traffic ones that I want to push up in the rankings for. That it's not necessarily as relevant as some of the products, but it does sell on these big search terms as well. And I do have some competitors with it too that do rank higher than me on some of these big search terms. So trying to push some of those. It has led to a higher ACOS, but overall it's in, I guess, my accepted range of what I'm comfortable with. Would I like to have lower ACOS? Yes, but not at the sacrifice of sales or organic orders in preparation for June. And this chart here is just the sales graph and the advertising graph overlaid on top of each other as best as I can anyways. So basically anything, the blue line is the spend. So pretty much anything above that is profit. So that kind of gives you an idea. So you can see like spend kind of increased this last half of the month. You can see the ACOS has bounced up and down quite a bit day to day. And again, most of that's from those two products. And a lot of it, the variance, a lot of that is on that best-selling product from last year. So that one's just been a challenge to keep the ACOS low while still maintaining the rank. But that happens. It's in super high competition niches. So that's kind of to be expected in those kind of products. And here's the product mix from April. I think the notable one from this is iPhone case. This might be the first month that it's came in second over hoodies. I could be wrong, but I don't know that I've sold more than hoodies. We are getting into summer months, so hoodies are probably not going to be as popular. They still sell all year round. I mean, weather's different all over the country. Other than that, got some throw pillows out and tote bags as new products. They haven't done anything crazy, but I think for how many throw pillows I have listed, I'm pretty happy with that. I think there's some good potential there, so we're going to keep doing that as well. We're doing a little bit more. We've put kind of our existing t-shirt designs. Most of our designs are geared towards t-shirts, and we have put those on other products, but we're doing designs specific to throw pillows, iPhone cases, tote bags, and pop sockets as well that are more graphic or pattern based than a standard t-shirt would be with certain text. And the fit types and color makeup, pretty typical. I don't see anything that really stands out to me here. It looks pretty normal for my distribution. And my top 5 products here, all standard tees. I think the 6th one was an iPhone case, one of the few iPhone cases that sells many units in a month. I do sell other iPhone cases, nothing that's really gained significant organic traction. This guy here, that's my bestseller from last year. So I do have one that's pacing to do much better than that. We'll have to see. It's going to be a big one for Father's Day. So we'll see how that kind of shakes out in June. Getting pretty excited about that. This one here, this is one I did lower the price on this in April. So that's why partway through the month. So you see, that's why it's not at that a little over $5 in average royalties. I did bring it down to $17.99. Again, to help increase the rank. And here's the total sales from all the other marketplaces. As you can see, we haven't done a whole lot with it. We're still focusing on the US marketplaces, and that's going to continue to be the plan going forward, at least till we fill our existing design slots. So we got about 95,000 there, which can take a little bit. It doesn't necessarily have to. Like I said, you can scale one design we could scale it to 80, 90,000 different variations, but we of course want to maximize our product potential or sales potential. And then we'll start looking at other markets. There's a lot of potential in these, especially with the volume of listings that are available. So yeah, if you got the processes set up to where you can trademark and trademark check and TM check all your designs and listings to make sure you're not breaking any of Amazon's rules, yeah, definitely go for it. There's a lot of potential in there. But yeah, we're going to keep with the US for the time being, like I said, until we maximize those slots and then start moving horizontally. And here's a breakdown of all my expenses. This is what hit the bank account. So the advertising is going to be a little bit off by a couple $100 from what the actual spend was. That's due to the way Amazon bills. I just did the credit card statement. That was the easiest way to do this. So I'll probably continue doing that. I pulled the other number from Ad Console. The way they bill, it's done in $500 increments. So part of March came into April and part of April went into May, sort of thing. Amazon fees, we have a Seller Central account we pay for. Payroll, that's my business manager, designers, VAs. This is going to go up. We're increasing our payroll as we bring on more headcount to maximize our slots. We're reinvesting the money back into the business is what we're doing so we can grow. And then software, which that's broken down here. This should be almost all the software I have. I think I got most of them. There may be one or two, but these are the ones that we actively use. A new one I added from last month is Order Desk. That's the software we're trying to use to route orders for our Seller Central account. So don't have to worry about that if you're just doing merch. Otherwise, all these are great software. Merchar is my own software that I'm a founder of, just as full disclosure, but it's Amazon advertising automation and optimization. If you're getting into ads, check it out. We built it out because of the pain points that we experienced. Well, me specifically, my co-founder doesn't really have anything to do with merch, but he's a genius developer. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's free to try. And then a nice little breakdown here. So obviously advertising, biggest expense by far. Plus I'm really aggressive with advertising, given the two products that I have. You need to be to get them to where they're at. And then payroll making up about 30% of that and 4.3% for software. This software, I'll have to see if there's anywhere that we can cut some of this. And Airtable is a pretty big expense for us. Especially as we're bringing on new people. It's $20 a user, which can be worth it if they're using it extensively. If you're bringing on, part-time people, or they're maybe a VA that's using it occasionally, it really adds up. And some of these other ones are on annual or semi-annual, like Merch Informer's on a semi-annual deal. So I don't know if those hit. I didn't look at it too closely, but those, you'll see those eventually when there's a big spike. Same thing with like Pretty Merch Pro. Vexels, we have a lifetime subscription for, so we won't see any costs there. But yeah, so that's what we're using for software. And that brings us to our profit, 15,000 royalties minus 11,000 in expenses. We get a little over $4,000 in profit. This is just US dollars. I didn't add in the other marketplaces. It wasn't enough to really bother with. I'll start doing that as we grow those marketplaces over time. But yeah, $4,077 in profit after all advertising, all payroll, all software. So that's money in the pocket, I guess, if that's what I wanted to do with it. Again, we're going to be reinvesting pretty heavily into this and ramping up the production. So excited to see kind of how that plays out. It's a long-term game. So a lot of the designs we're going to be putting up in the next couple months, it's going to be 1 to 2 years before they really reach any kind of product maturity, just to get the organic sales or just get any sales and start getting the reviews as well. So yeah, pretty happy with the way April is going and how it's looking moving into June. It'll start picking up here at the end of May. We should start seeing some traffic kind of that last week, how it's been the last couple of years. So yeah, looking forward to that. yeah, that's it for now. If you got any value out of this, definitely subscribe, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Otherwise, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Even better though, join the Merch Mechanics group and post them there. I'll definitely see it there. I don't always see the YouTube comments, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions, comments, and happy to answer them.